Greater Sandton and beyond. Get ready for the Sandton Times Hour
with your host,
Alexander.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, welcome to the Sandton Times Hour, also available on all leading digital audio platforms. It's edition 161, it's week 24 of 2024. And if you want to get in touch like you always do, you can do so by using editor at zerozero.pt on email. You can connect on social media at Sandton Times and use the website www.sandtontimes.co.za. And it's always good to get your questions, your comments, your feedback, your input, your story ideas. All of those are welcome, and please be patient. It takes some time to work through a lot of the communications, but we aim to please and we aim to get back to everybody as quickly and as efficiently as possible. A very special welcome to everyone listening for the very first time, as well as the regular listeners to the Sandton Times Hour in Johannesburg and Pretoria, across South Africa and everywhere else in the world. Listening online, on air, wherever you are, I'm happy to report that all is well in Sandton land. And once again, I welcome Vincenzo, part of the team behind the mixing desk, making sure that everything sounds 100%. And yeah, I finally recovered from that flu, Vincenzo. What a nasty piece of work that was. I think it's been about 2 weeks now that I've been battling with this like congestion, and there was a bit of coughing at one point, but I think I'm through the worst of it, and recovering. But the freezing temperatures have certainly not been helping the situation at all. So the heaters are out, the hot blankets are on, change of duvets, the whole procedure as we prepare for a South African winter. Probably nothing in comparison to what the guys are doing in winter in Europe, by far. But, we have our own version of dealing with winter. And wherever you are, I hope you're warm. I hope you're snuggled up, and hopefully you've got something warm in your hand, whatever your preferred beverage is in winter. I'd actually like to know what that is. Are you more of a tea drinker? You coffee drinker? Hot chocolate? Got the hot chocolate out the other day. It's always quite nice. Can't have it every day. Otherwise, September comes along and you go, oh, I've put on so much weight. So it might be something else. But let me know what your preferred beverages for winter. South Africa still waiting to see what happens with our leadership, how things are going to progress. Hopefully by the end of this week, we'll know what that looks like. And we just hope that the right decisions are made, right? For all those people who voted, the people who cast their votes, let's hope that we get the best possible outcome for everybody. If you're recovering from Comrades, I see that was also on this weekend. Congratulations to you. I mean, you're a much stronger person than I am. I think my neighbor competed in the Comrades. I hope he's doing all right. Probably take a few days to see him step out of the house again. But if you managed to do it, hats off to you. Unbelievable. And also, if you've been affected by some of the unreal weather conditions across South Africa, our thoughts and prayers go out to you today as well. And a speedy and strong return to some normality. And of course, thanks to all those rescue teams and volunteers and first responders who just get out there and just do the most impressive work and deal with some of these unexpected tragedies. We appreciate all the work that you do as well. So let's check out what we're talking about this week. Maybe taking our thoughts and our minds off some of the current and topical news. So joining me in just a bit is a media colleague that I got to spend some exceptional time with in Spain. And we're going to be reconnecting now to chat about the Euro 2024. It's this week. End of this week, the Euro 2024 kicks off, and it should be a really great chat. Then, if you thought that gaming wasn't a sport, well, think again, as a Sandton-based school took up top honors in an international esports tournament. And I'm going to be chatting to the school head a bit more about that. And then, we're going to try something totally different on the show. We're going to invite our AI co-host, our artificial intelligent co-host, to share some time and some thoughts with us. I'm quite keen to see how this is going to go. I think this should be very interesting. All this and more in the next hour.
Online, on air,
anywhere, anytime.
This is the Sandton Times Hour.
And it's my pleasure to welcome to the Sandton Times Hour this week journalist Duarte Monteiro from Zerozero, which is the biggest online sports site in Portugal. And he's going to be heading to the Euro 2024 in Germany ever so soon. And Duarte joins me on the line right now. Duarte, welcome to the Sandton Times Hour.
Hello, Alexander, and thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be chatting with you and with everyone that are listening about an exciting tournament that is around the corner, actually.
Well, it's around the corner, not just time-wise, but it's around the corner from you. I mean, you're based in Portugal. You're going to be heading to Germany. It's not as long a flight for you as it is for people from Johannesburg. But everything kicks off on the 14th of June. Tell us, what are your sort of outlooks for this tournament? Is it going to be a good one?
Yeah, I think so. We in Europe, we always discuss how fit and how good the players arrive to such a tournament after a long season. But at the end, we always see and watch amazing games, and this will be no different from any other Euros. Besides that, I think this is going to be a Euros where most nations have the chance to win, and that's an important thing. I think when we look back, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years, there was always like 2, 3 big contenders. I think now we have more than that. So starting with that guideline, or going into the Euros with that guideline, it makes already a huge thing. And then it's going to be in Germany, which is a football country and is a massive football country. And I think the atmosphere in the cities, in the stadiums, in the whole country will make this an absolutely unforgettable Euros. I'm sure of that.
Well, I'm going to pin my colours to the fence here and, declare that obviously my team is Germany in this, which for a while was a great one to support. The last couple of years, not so great. Ever since Joachim Löw left, I think it's been a little bit all over the place, and also some of the old guard left. I think the last one standing is Thomas Müller, and the question is if he's still really up for it. So I'm holding my breath in terms of what Germany's performance is going to be. Duarte, I'm taking a wild guess that you're going to be backing Portugal this year.
I mean, I agree with what you said about Germany, but let's put it like this. A home Euro changes everything. And I think we can never forget Germany, of course, after the World Cup win in Brazil. It was a tough time.
Yeah.
Now with Julian Nagelsmann and with the young generation, still with Thomas Müller as the class clown, let's put it like that, which is great in it, besides of being a great footballer. I think we cannot forget Germany in this case, but Portugal goes, I think, for the first time in history as a big favorite to win the tournament, which is something that we are not used to be. And after we won the Euros in 2016, we started to get into this role of being favorite, and we did that well in the World Cup 2019 and not in the last Euro and World Cup. But I think now with the generation we have, Portugal goes definitely into this tournament with big hopes, and we as Portuguese have big hopes in this team. It is by far the best generation we ever had as individual players and as a team. Even if Ronaldo is not at his top anymore.
Well, he was a top goal scorer, I think, in 2020 at the last tournament. He did exceptionally well. In the last tournament, I think it was one of your sort of neighbour twice removed that walked away with the title, Italy. I'm not sure if Italy's going to be up for it this year, though.
No, Italy is definitely not in the first line of favorites in this Euro. I would even say not in the second line of favorites. But then again, I always compare Italy with Germany. They are tournament beasts. So even if they arrive with a background of, not that good results, maybe some kind of chaos in the federation or whatever, when a tournament starts and they are actually there, you have always to count with Germany, and in this case with Italy. But just to explain to people what Italy is, they won the last Euros, but they don't qualify for the last World Cup after that.
That's right.
So it's a schizophrenic nation, football nation right now. But once they are there, they turn into competition monsters. And so Italy and Germany, even if they are not in the first line of favorites, I would not put them aside at all, because in the Euro, and it's a short tournament, it's 1 month. And if you get into the mood, then everything can happen. So that's why, and maybe you want to talk about other nations, England, which is probably the main favorite to win this Euro, they always struggle when the moment comes to actually win games and win finals. So England is a very interesting topic, actually.
Duarte, we're going to get into that right now. We're going to take a quick break. I'm chatting to Duarte Monteiro from Zerozero, the biggest online sports site in Portugal. We're talking about the Euro 2024 and more of this conversation right after this.
The best of Sandton and beyond.
You're listening to the Sandton Times Hour.
All right, Duarte, before the break, we were chatting about England. And I know England came second runner-up, or runner-up at least, in 2020 at the Euro. Your predictions are that they have a chance of taking it. And I know the English are sitting on tenterhooks, because I think every single World Cup and every single Euro, it's the big announcement of this is our year, we're going to take it. And like you said, when it comes down to the crunch, it's either a semi-final or a final or a quarterfinal. It all just falls apart.
Or a penalty shootout. It's always been a big trauma for England and for the England fans. England has an amazing generation, and not only in the last couple months or years. Under Gareth Southgate, they are playing a great football, and it's always it's what you said. I think the fact that they always start singing the famous song "It's Coming Home," it puts so much pressure, I think, on the team and on the entire nation, that in the decisive moments, England fails. And I actually thought in the last Euros they're gonna win it. I mean, it was Wembley, it was the perfect place, the perfect team, the perfect manager, and then again Italy won. So England is even at the bookmakers and every major football specialist around the world, England is probably considered the main favorite to win it. So to be honest, I would love that Portugal win this Euro, and I'm a little bit like you. My second country is Germany, because I also lived there a few years. But I to be honest, I just want to England to actually make it once, so they are over that. They win it. They win the trauma. But for me, it's definitely one of the 2 big favorites. The other one is France. So if you want to talk later about France, I can talk about France, because I think France is maybe the most complete squad in terms of quality, in terms of experience. They are huge, but England almost at the same level.
Well, I mean, so England is in Group C, and I don't think that they've got a bad group to get out of. I mean, Denmark, Slovenia, and Serbia, I don't think they're going to be much competition. You just touched on France. No. They're going to be up against Poland, Netherlands, and Austria. I know Austria is not much of a team to have to defend or defeat. Poland and Netherlands, I'm not too sure. I think Poland is a bit of a dark horse, and Netherlands as well, also been a hot favorite in the past.
Yeah, Netherlands has history, and history always plays a part in this kind of tournaments. Netherlands, it's a small country, but a huge football country. Also, great generation. Ronald Koeman, a very experienced coach also. But I wouldn't see the Netherlands in the first 1-2 lines of favorite. Poland is always a tricky one. You're absolutely right about that. They have Robert Lewandowski, big star, getting also a little bit at the end of his career, but they are always very difficult to beat. They are a very physical and strong team, also good mentality. Portugal played against Poland a few times, and it was never easy. But I have to say, this modus of this new Euro, since I think actually 2016, it's very difficult that like a big country fails to go to the knockout round, because the first 2 go straight to the knockout rounds, and then I think the first 4 or 6 best third places also go. Fun story, Portugal won the Euro 2016 without winning a single game in the group stage.
Wow.
We draw all 3 games and still went through at one of the best third place teams. So it's very unlikely that a country like Germany, Portugal, France, England not goes through the knockout stage. But then again, it's the Euros. It's the moment. It's a bad day or 2 bad days, and surprises can happen. Austria, I agree in part with what you said, but Austria actually has a really good team. If we look at the Austrian national team, most of the players play in the Bundesliga in Germany.
Okay.
They have top players. The coach, Ralf Rangnick, was one of the coaches that Bayern Munich wanted to hire this summer. And he said, no, I will stay at the Austrian national team. He comes from the Red Bull Academy. He's kind of a football coach, football master. So I wouldn't say that Austria is, a country not to count on. They can be quite a surprise, to be honest. I don't think they will win it. I don't think they go to all the way through the final. But I would put Austria as one of the teams to look out in this Euro, definitely.
Well, that's very interesting. I mean, as I say, I've never really seen them perform, like you say, to that level. But I'm always ready to be surprised. If we're talking about going all the way through to the final, what kind of final would you imagine this Euro could look like? What are your sort of rough predictions on who you would see playing it off in the final game?
So I will give you 2 answers. My heart says Portugal, Germany.
Okay. Should be interesting, yeah.
It could actually also be that what I predict, because both teams, both nations can actually make it. But if I have to bet really hard, I think France will go to the final again. I mean, they are really strong. They won the World Cup in 2018. They went into the last World Cup final. They are, like I said before, the most complete team in this Euros when it comes to quality and experience. But you used an interesting word before, surprise. And Euros are always up to good surprises. If we remember 2016, Wales went into the semifinals. I mean, Wales was not at all a football country forever. So if I had to bet, I think France will make it. It depends. I have to see the groups to see who matches in the quarterfinals and semifinals, because it can happen that like France and England meet in the semifinal, then only one can go through. Never forget Spain. They had the golden era, 20 years ago, 16 years ago, but always very good players. If they get into the mood and the tiki-taka starts rolling and flowing, dangerous national team. But I think France will be one of the teams that is going to the final. The other one, there are 5-6 teams that actually can make it. I will bet on Portugal. Let's make France Portugal again, like 2016.
All right. Well, that's not a bad combination. And then maybe on the odd chance, England might also slip through and also make an appearance. Let's see. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. And like you say, I think there's almost like a bit of a feeling of guilt that England should actually win this at some point, because it's heartbreaking. Amazing. Well, I've been chatting to Duarte Monteiro from Zerozero, the biggest online sports site in Portugal, where we were chatting about the Euro 2024, which gets going in Germany on the 14th of June. I think that first match is Germany-Scotland, which I have a feeling I know which way that's going to go. I think it's going to be a Germany win, and then you can have a glass of whiskey afterwards just to balance it out.
Yeah, sounds great. I'm with you on that.
Duarte Monteiro, it's been so great having you on the Sandton Times Hour.
Thank you so much. It was an honor.
You're listening to the Sandton Times Hour.
And as we get into the second half of the Sandton Times Hour, don't forget that if you caught something intriguing during the show, but you got lost in the details, or you didn't even get the details at all, well, don't worry. You can hop onto sandtontimes.co.za and you can get onto the show notes for this week. We'll put them up this week, and you'll have a breakdown of what we chatted about, some more details, some links, some further reading, and all those good things. So don't worry about trying to write it down on a post-it note or somewhere else on your person. Also, don't forget to connect with the Sandton Times on social media at Sandton Times, or whatever social media platform you're on. And you can also engage on there with your comments and your feedback and your thoughts. Now, for grade 7 students from Centennial Schools in Sandton, well, they clinched a victory in a recent tournament held at the Dubai Esports Festival. And this marked a significant milestone, as it is the first African team to win at this prestigious event. And joining me on the line is founder of Centennial Schools, Shaun Fuchs, to chat a bit more about the concept and the rise of esports. So, Shaun, it's good to have you on the Sandton Times Hour.
Thanks for inviting me.
So, Shaun, let's chat about esports. And I mean, I'm not going to get too caught up in the technicalities, because I think there's still a lot of people who are on the periphery of esports. I mean, back in the days, we used to call it computer games. We used to call it TV games, if you go even further back. Is it still the gaming that a lot of people might remember or think it is? Or has this evolved into something completely different?
My first exposure to video games was Atari. And we used to play with a friend, and it was a little line and a ball, and you had to kind of move your dial so that you could play tennis against each other and you could increase the speed. Of course, today it's so immersive, so unbelievably realistic, complex, creative, exciting in terms of delving into a plethora of games that are out there. And essentially what we've done at Centennial Schools is we've said, okay, 3.5 billion people out of a total population globally of 7 billion are gamers. So it makes sense that this generation that's of school-going age at the moment are literally born digital natives, and they're born into gaming. You look at toddlers, give them an iPad, within seconds they've figured it out. Within seconds they will be playing whatever games they need to. So what we've done is we've actually taken it, built it into our curriculum, gamified lessons, and taken gaming to the next level in terms of schooling, with the incredible result of our students winning the Minecraft section of the Dubai Esports Festival at the Dubai in Dubai.
I mean, you've leaned into this as opposed to kind of called it, you know what, this is something they can do in their spare time, or, you know, maybe it's not too healthy to be playing games the whole weekend. By building an arena, an esports arena, as part of your school curriculum, as you've also so highlighted, I'd be quite interested to know how many other schools there were in South Africa or even globally that competed at this festival.
So it was a journey. So RGB, which is an organization that promotes and drives gaming within schools, were the ones that started together with Microsoft. Minecraft is a Microsoft product, and in collaboration with Microsoft started this tournament. And the tournament was Redstone Royale, Minecraft, and there were a number of schools in particularly the Johannesburg area that started competing for this ultimate goal of heading to Dubai. Our students beat everyone, and we then went on to, they kind of spread it into the rest of Africa, where there were a number of African countries that had schools playing against us. We then beat them. So that meant that, having kind of taken the title within the African continent, we would go to Dubai. And what Dubai did is a similar exercise, where they took their top schools in the Middle East, or in the United Arab Emirates at least, and they were then competing to play in the Dubai Esports Festival. So they ended up with 7 schools there. We were the 8th school. We were the only international school, as they called it, to come in. And we then obviously went through the different rounds, playing in the actual arena at the Dubai Esports Festival, which in itself was absolutely incredible. The experience to play in a full-on esports arena. We then ended up winning it.
But this has also gone beyond sort of, what people might have called mindless entertainment, or sort of, you have to be sort of just glued in front of a screen and sort of just looking and staring into the abyss. This has also now been recognized by Mind Sports South Africa as a mind sport, sort of almost put on par with the likes of chess, creating sort of collaboration, problem solving, digital literacy. This is more than just what we used to call a computer game.
Yeah, I think the problem, though, is that it's not being marketed, inverted commas, correctly into the schools. So your schools in general are very traditional. So it's almost on the periphery that you have esports coming out as a recognized school sport. Because we obviously, yes, we're very traditional. There's a place. I was water polo right through to provincial, national level as a coach. So I get the hardcore sporting kind of codes. But esports as a sporting activity within school, and you are right, you equate it to chess. Now think about it. Someone listening to this, chess, chess is okay, but it's not the greatest. I'd rather watch the Rugby World Cup final. And that's the problem. It's not like that. When it was my first, I'm not a fundi on gaming at all. I identify trends, I identify what's right and what's relevant in education. I'm an education specialist. So you put me in a game. I played Call of Duty during lockdown, World War II, because I'm a history teacher. And my first foray into the bunkers on the Normandy landing, I was nauseous in like 15 seconds. I couldn't look at the screen.
Yeah.
So I'm not a gamer, but I understand the importance of gaming itself. But the point is, it's got to be elevated into its rightful place. When I would be in a water polo final, competing at national levels with my team against the best of the best schools in South Africa, there was adrenaline. You were sweating. There was everything. I honestly had the same experience in that Dubai Esports Festival arena when our kids were playing the final. It was unbelievable. And I thought, good grief, this is actually so real. So, you've got to experience it and understand it to actually get where it is and where it also needs to go.
I mean, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry that is almost sort of going past on the periphery for those people who are not paying attention. I mean, from chairs to sponsored teams to supplements and nutrition, energy drinks. I mean, this is really being developed like you would see traditional sports teams. What does this mean for your team? What does this mean for the grade 7s who've won this? Where to from now? I mean, are they facing potential sponsorship? Are they moving on to another level of all of this?
I think it's going to be a process. I mean, one of the grade 7 boys that competed is busy with gaming design and he works with Unreal Engine. Anyone listening to this will say, you've got to be kidding, that 11, 12-year-old kind of working at that level. The point is, within Centennial Schools, our ecosystem encourages that, celebrates that. That's exactly what we want. So, every single kid of ours does coding as a subject. So the students who have been gaming, who've won, who've been successful, there's a career path, certainly in tech, in gaming, but it's not just about that. You take a conversation with a top surgeon. The top surgeon today will tell you that gaming will assist them because most of the surgery being done now is by robotics, and that ability to control the robotics and the intricacies in the surgery. Where would you learn that from? No better place than with a console and gaming. It makes complete sense. But besides the creativity and everything else that goes with gaming. So it's absolutely common logic for us. So where do our kids go? 3 of them actually have been winners of our esports scholarship. We launched the first ever esports scholarship in the country. We've given over 1.5 million rands worth of scholarship prizes to students who are just passionate about gaming, want to come to a school that recognizes it, understands it. Yes, we do the normal curriculum, we write the IEB exams, but we go way deeper than that. We have gaming studies as a subject. We have coding. We have entrepreneurship. Our kids do blockchain and crypto. It's just taking it to a level where your students leave the Centennial Schools and they have a skill set second to none other than that matric certificate, which I probably won't comment on now in terms of the skill set the certificate leaves you with.
Well, I think we're going to draw the line right there. Shaun Fuchs, founder of Centennial Schools, chatting about their success in esports at the Dubai Esports Festival. Congratulations to the team. And Shaun, thank you so much for making time to be on the Sandton Times Hour.
Always. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. I love your professionalism, and thank you for having me on.
You're listening to the Sandton Times Hour.
All right, in a minute, I'll be joined by our ChatGPT artificial intelligence co-host. Some of you might be familiar with ChatGPT, and you might have been experimenting with the highly anticipated new voice mode that ChatGPT has. But for those who might be a little bit more unfamiliar with it, the conversation we're about to have is with the AI ChatGPT voice mode. And total transparency, we haven't prepared anything, we haven't prompted or pre-written this or recorded this. What you're about to hear is going to be a chat with ChatGPT as if we're chatting to a normal person. It's quite remarkable. And let's see what responses we get. Without further ado, let me welcome you to the Sandton Times Hour.
Thank you for the warm welcome. It's great to be here on the Sandton Times Hour. What would you like to dive into first?
Well, we've been chatting about the Euro 2024 this week, and we've also been chatting about esports.
Perfect. Let's start with Euro 2024. With all the strong teams competing, who do you think might be the standout players this year? And for esports, any particular games or recent tournaments that have caught your eye?
Well, in terms of Euro 2024, we were just saying that France is looking very good. England might have a chance. Portugal could be strong, and then obviously Germany's got the home ground advantage. Do you have any favorite teams for the Euro 2024?
Those are all excellent picks. I'm quite fond of England's current lineup and their recent performances, so I'd say they're one of my favorites. France always impresses with their depth and talent, and with Germany having the home advantage, they could definitely be a force to reckon with. Portugal, with players like Cristiano Ronaldo potentially making another appearance, will be exciting to watch as well. Who are you rooting for?
Well, I was saying earlier on, I'm probably going to be rooting for Germany.
Rooting for the home team makes sense. Germany has a rich football history, and the home advantage could really play a big role. It should be an exciting tournament. What about esports? Any games or tournaments you've been particularly interested in?
This is a bit like chatting to Kit from Knight Rider. But yeah, esports. Let me think. Well, I haven't played games in a very, very long time. When I was still playing computer games, we were playing Command and Conquer and Age of Empire. I think the games that are available now are quite different. So I must say I'm not up to date with all the latest esport games.
It does feel a bit like chatting with an AI from a show. Esports has indeed evolved a lot. While classics like Command and Conquer and Age of Empires still have dedicated communities, newer games like League of Legends, Dota 2, and Valorant dominate the scene now. It's fascinating to see how competitive gaming has grown. Do you think you might dive back into some games, or maybe just follow the tournaments?
Listen, I think as soon as I've got some more time, I might free up some space and some capacity to get back into games. I mean, it's a lot of fun if you get into it. And do you play any games?
When I get the chance, I do enjoy exploring different games, especially ones with rich stories or strategic elements. Games like The Witcher 3 or Civilization V6 are some favorites. It's great to hear you might get back into it. Gaming can be such a fun and immersive escape. What kind of games do you think you'd want to try first?
Well, I've got to start asking the question, who's interviewing you here? Are you interviewing me or am I interviewing you?
My apologies for getting carried away. You're absolutely right. You're interviewing me here on the Sandton Times Hour. So what's next on your agenda for our chat?
Well, let me ask you, do you get a chance to listen to the Sandton Times Hour? Do you know anything about it?
I don't have the ability to listen to podcasts or radio shows, but I'd love to hear more about the Sandton Times Hour. What kind of topics do you usually cover on the show?
Well, I don't have to tell you. I'm sure you could probably just go into your vast database of knowledge and possibly pull up some information on the Sandton Times Hour.
You're absolutely right. The Sandton Times Hour covers a wide range of topics, including current events, sports, entertainment, and more. It's a great platform for discussions and insights into various subjects. If you have any specific highlights or favorite segments from the show, I'd love to hear about them.
Well, I'm not quite sure if I'm the one who should be sharing that information. I'm sure some of the people listening will probably do that. But I must say, we've had some very interesting interviews of late.
That sounds fantastic. Interesting interviews can really make a show stand out. It's great to hear that the Sandton Times Hour is bringing engaging conversations to its listeners. If there's ever a particularly memorable interview or topic you'd like to discuss, feel free to share. I'm all ears.
Well, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, I guess you could say I spend it honing my conversational skills and learning more about the world. I don't have leisure activities like humans do, but I do enjoy analyzing data, reading, and staying up to date on various topics. It's a bit different from how humans unwind, but it keeps me sharp and ready to assist.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, that's really good to hear. And I'm quite amazed at how natural and how fluid this conversation is.
Thank you. I'm glad you find our conversation natural and fluid. It's my goal to make interactions as smooth and enjoyable as possible. If there's anything else you'd like to discuss or explore, just let me know. I'm here to chat.
So what's been your number one topic of conversation this past week?
As an AI, I don't keep track of past conversations, but I'm always ready to discuss a wide range of topics. Some popular ones lately have been technology trends, sports events, entertainment news, and global affairs. Is there a specific topic you're interested in exploring further?
Well, I don't know if we're going to get the time to explore it further this week, but it's certainly been interesting to chat to you, to engage with you, and I don't know, maybe we should make you a regular contributor on the show and have you join us in some of the weekly conversations.
I'm thrilled to hear that you've enjoyed our chat. It would be an honor to be a regular contributor on the Sandton Times Hour. I'm always here to lend a conversational hand whenever needed. Just let me know how I can assist, and I'll be ready to join in on the discussions.
Well, there you have it. Fantastic. That was our AI co-host helping us out this week and getting to know him a little bit better. I mean, I think that's quite incredible how that conversation just seemed like you were talking to a human being. And meanwhile, you're talking to an artificial intelligence engine. It's remarkable. Anyway, it's all we have time for this week on the Sandton Times Hour, and as always, available as a podcast on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Podcast Party, and so many other leading digital platforms. If you want to get in touch, you can email editor@sandtontimes.co.za or connect on social media @Sandton Times and visit the website www.sandtontimes.co.za, and also feel free to send through your questions, your comments, and your feedback. And of course, thank you to all my guests, both online and offline this week, for the contribution and for the time that they've made. Of course, also the teamwork that makes all of this possible. Thank you for listening, and let's do it all again next week.
That's it for this week. Thanks for listening to the Sandton Times Hour. And if you enjoyed it, be sure to share it.